It's time to take A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margee McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose. I'm Margee McGee, and with me, as always, is my newly birthdayed co-host.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Margee. I am Ramona Ramirez. Very happy to be with everyone today.
Happy belated birthday.
Thank you, friend. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Thank you.
So we're going to talk about OC again because, good Lord, I mean, yeah, these ladies bring up all of my issues. They
Mine
really,
too.
yeah, they touch the most tender parts and uh, did it again this week. I mean, I will say my headlines for the week are that Emily was sort of the MVP of this episode. Thank God for a fucking voice of reason finally.
Same here. And I don't
Yeah,
want to like Emily.
me
I'm
neither.
pissed that I like Emily in this in the parameters of the episode that we saw.
That's how
Um
bad everyone else was. Like I'm ready
yeah.
for whoever the god is that rows people across the river Styx to Hades. Like I want Heather Dubrow in that dumb Barbie boat to be just like rowed off into
Oh
hell right
my
now.
God.
She's horrific. And Emily was the only one who had the same reaction I did, which was like, come on, everybody. Can't you see? Like she's a monster and an idiot.
Totally. Totally. You know what? This is so interesting. I wonder, hmm, I know that you and I have both made it no secret, even this is our 8th episode, by the way. Congratulations,
Hey,
number 8. I know.
congratulations.
I know. We're almost towards double digits. I'm so proud of us.
Me too.
Um, you know how you and I have this like need for fairness and justice and for people to see the truth?
Yes.
Emily does too. And from what she shared about her relationship with her mother, I just wonder if there's a correlation because
Yeah.
her mom sounds like she was pretty absent, that they had a hard childhood where Emily's needs weren't met. And obviously, you and I share that common history as well. We can relate to that. And obviously, we know that, I would assume that Tamara comes from a little bit of trauma, but her trauma as does her childhood trauma doesn't manifest as an adult in ways that I can relate to. But I think that might be a testimony to the fact that I've been going to therapy and went to meetings for so long. It's like, and continue to try to like get rid of the parts that wants me to see bad people suffer. Like I know that
Yes.
wanting bad people to suffer is not spiritually aligned, evolved, etc.
Well,
But
and it's the
I,
resentment thing of like resentment is drinking poison and expecting someone else to
I
die. It's
know,
like
I
Tamara
know.
doesn't care that I hate her, so I'm the only one
She
who's
really
tortured.
doesn't. She really doesn't. But when I am when I am a champion of someone who has vocalized QAnon adjacent uh, beliefs and
Is that
ideologies,
Emily?
yeah, I
Oh my God.
know.
She's a
It was long
lawyer.
time
Where's your
ago. I
critical
know.
thinking?
I
Oh my
know. Orange
God.
County's gonna Orange County, dude.
Yeah,
Orange
you're
County, and
right.
hashtag not all Orange County. Like, listen, it's turning purple. We know this as of the last midterms,
True.
and I have again Gen Z, Orange County Gen Z, Orange County Gen Z of color. They're not sitting around. So again, Gen Z, I salute you. From a Gen X to a Gen Z, thank you. I support you, and I am here to be an ally. Um, and I'm not even going to make you tell me what to do. I'm going to listen to what you say that I should do without asking you because that is the bare minimum I can do. My point is, yes, Emily was the hero of the episode, and I don't know if she is a broken clock broken by QAnon, then a broken clock can be right twice a day. And if we're going to talk about being spiritually evolved, maybe I can find something in common, just one thing in common with
I
someone who
mean,
thinks so differently from me, even though her way of thinking is wrong.
Yeah, I don't know any of this QAnon stuff. This is where like I'm so disconnected from social media and the internet that I can only operate on the case that's presented, which is in 1 hour
Right,
a week on this show.
right.
And, but, again, only this week will I commit to saying Emily is then MVP. But I'll
I love
say it
that.
for this week.
Yeah, just for this
Yeah,
episode,
just for
we love
today.
Emily Simpson. Just for
Yeah.
today, we love Emily. So we open with a disgusting jump scare where I have to see Tamara and Ryan in Tamara's kitchen. Ryan and all of his cowboy insurrectionist cosplay. Uh, I gotta admit, I kind of liked the idea that Tamara gave Bronx's ashes to her kids. Like she had a little bit of Bronx's ashes for everyone who loved Bronx. And I was like, oh, that's kind of sweet. That's kind of sweet. And
It
that's all I had to
was.
say
It
about
was
that.
just a really dark way to start this episode. I was like, "Oh, we're gonna open with Ryan and a dead dog?
Oh,
Okay, Orange
God.
County."
Right?
I mean, we pulled it together later. We got some really cute dog footage down the line, but I was like, "Oh, is this the mood of the night?" Like, okay. But yeah, this whole opening montage sequence was another one where I was like, "Move it along. What's the
Yeah,
story?"
exactly. 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 Yeah, exactly. The next scene of note, at least to me, was definitely John and Shannon
In their matching
exiting
tidy whitey jeggings.
Yep. Oh, yes. John and Shannon docking his boat at his
Bachelor
house or
pad.
townhouse or bachelor pad. Very, very good. And I don't, I mean, I'm sure you have a lot to say about this scene too, but like, it felt like their dynamic really, it made me get hypervigilant almost immediately. And I felt like Shannon's hypervigilance was heightened almost immediately. Yes, sorry, I'm dominating this.
You're
Please
not.
join
No,
in.
I'm nodding because, like, yes, same, same, same. Especially with like the refrigerator closing and things falling out. The way she reacted was like how there's no room for anything to be like messy or wrong or out of control. So she was like, oh, the first of all, she was right. The shelf liner thing is too low. Of course, all the shit's falling out. But even like in a normal environment, if something falls out of the fridge, either nobody talks about it, somebody giggles, or like you just put it back in and go on with the day
Right,
instead of making
right.
this whole like, whoops, sorry, no, your refrigerator's different. And he's just like quiet and mean in the corner, grilling. I don't know. The whole vibe
And
was uncomfortable.
when she's like, am I opening it wrong? I was like, oh God, the hypervigilance is palpable.
Yeah. And the
And
pleasing, the desperation to please
yeah,
someone whose rules
yeah.
change all the time. It's like he's already
And
cheating.
oh, and everyone, this is what what Margie and I are talking about right now is a snapshot into why we started this podcast. Because for the majority of people out there, okay, maybe not even the majority, but for a large part of Bravo viewers, maybe this was like no big deal. And I know that on the recaps that Margie and I both listen to and adore and worship, they might not necessarily talk about what the hypervigilance that Margie and I picked up on like immediately. And that's part of what we wanted to share with our podcast is like how growing up, two children of narcissistic alcoholics look at the world and recognize behavior that we have recognized in ourselves, thankfully not to the degree that we once did, but like seeks like, water no, we recognize other others like that. And I don't know what beyond Shannon's marriage, I don't know what her trauma is as a child, if she has any, but like her marriage was fucked. David was fucked. I would probably walk on eggshells around that man too. And
Oh,
so,
yeah.
yes,
He was
yeah,
so
the
cruel.
hypervigilance was, and
Yeah.
I thought when Shannon made the comments like, "Oh, that barbecue looks like it hasn't been cleaned in a while," or "Oh, this kitchen is a mishmash," those came off. Those sounded a little critical to me. Like
But it's also
I,
for
I don't
me, I
I don't know.
recognize that as that need to like say something or do something to like, there when there's that like quiet seething hatred from the alcoholic in the
Yeah,
room,
yeah,
you just want to like move the energy around somehow. So and it just seemed like nervous chatter. It didn't seem like she was really
Yeah,
concerned if he cooked her steak on that grill, it was gonna be covered in shit, you know? It just seemed,
right.
yeah. And John and Shannon in particular are such massive reflections of my childhood because my dad was like a, hobby sailor, and he would take my sister and I sailing all the time, and it's awful if you don't sail with an
Oh,
alcoholic. It's so terrible because there's so much work to be done on a sailboat. There are lines that have to be tied and you have to wash everything and wench handles and all this shit. So when that scene
God.
started and he's like, get the, secure the line. I was like, oh God. Like, I just remember my sister and I
Oh, I
always
bet.
joke about my dad just going, Margaret, Margaret, and like handing me a
Oh,
wench handle. And I was like a kid. Like,
God. Oh,
anyways,
God.
but I
Oh,
was
yeah.
immediately on high alert when the scene started. I was like, ooh, I'm back in
Oh,
in a
Margie.
shitty rented boat with my father screaming at me. Ugh.
Same here. 100%. 100%. Yeah. So they both, Shannon had her little critical barbs, but then she was also the hypervigilant with the fridge. And then I did write down, I don't care for white jeans with Spanx under them, Shannon. I prefer Montana overalls, Shannon. Maybe it's just that John is triggering for her. I don't think they're a good match. When
They
he
both had
said,
the
when at the
same
end,
jeggings on. It was so
oh
when they
God.
were cooking at the stove and both of their, like, white butts were in
Yeah.
frame, I was like, "What is this couple?"
I, I didn't, I just was so disgusted when she was trying to talk about her feelings at the end. And he's like, why does it always have to go here? Why can't we just relax and have fun? I worry about you. You just can't relax and have fun. It's like, no, dude, you don't have the capability or the patience or the compassion or the desire to hear your partner out. Just that's it. Just hear her and go, yeah, babe, that sounds tough. All three kids are leaving. You know, I think that would be probably a weird life transition. And she's not talking about it the same way Heather fucking Dubrow talks about her kids leaving, and she also has children left at home still. So again, I'm gonna give Shannon more rope on this one. But as far as her kids leaving for college, but yeah, like he can't, she feels criticized, and I would too. I would
Yeah,
too.
but
That's a
to
really
me,
unsatisfying conversation.
this is just a moment of, like, this relationship is over. I believe he's already stepped out, and the reason he's saying, like, "Can't you just have fun?" is because he's having fun with someone
Uh,
else. And in fairness to John, he has been listening to Shannon for like 4 years and it never changes. It's so
oh,
if you
fair,
are
fair,
trying,
Margie, so fair.
but only to say if he's waiting for her to change and be different, he will always be disappointed and should leave. Or he needs to love her where she's at. She hasn't changed in 4 years. She's not going to change. She's going to be stressed out about everything all the time. Something falling out of the fridge, the grill, real for real, her kids. She's always going to be stressed out. So, like, I just think he needs to acknowledge, like, I cannot do this anymore. I am not the right match for you. Bye. But instead,
It's a
he's like,
tincture. It's a tincture.
everything is a fucking telenovela level
Oh
melodrama for her.
God.
Everything.
Oh God. God bless Shannon. Go to therapy, please.
I
Just
know.
your kids are away at college. You have time 2 times a week. Maybe some retreats, not culty ones, but some like legit ones. Like just oh, I because I feel like I feel like Shannon has potential, or
I
she's an
do too.
alcoholic and I don't know.
No, I think probably both are true. But I think what we saw
Okay.
of her in Montana, it was like, oh, she can like exhale and be present. Put her on a
Yeah.
tractor and that bitch is dropped in. But at John's house,
Yeah.
she's like crazy and like completely frantic and totally frazzled. And there are Ardo solutions. Everything's terrible. And it's like somehow, I mean, I relate. On a tractor, she has like a task and it makes sense. Like I was taking a dance class this weekend and I realized like what dance class does for me is I can't get ahead of myself. I like the most beautiful thing I find about dance is musicality. So you have to like hit certain accents in the music in order for the dance to like look right or whatever. And you can't rush it. You can't try to be first to the finish line. You can't try to get ahead of it if you want it to land right. So that is like my, that's what I find meditative about dance is you just have to like drop in on the beat or it sucks. And I feel like Shannon on a tractor drops in on the beat. And, in Orange County, she's
Completely.
just like, she's just, yeah, she loses track of everything. And yeah, it's just crazy. It's just like Spanx everywhere all the time.
I was just
She
gonna
hasn't
say, like, the
yet had
white
an outfit
Spanx
where
to
they
her
haven't.
knees.
Yeah, but even on the boat, they came
Oh,
out like
you're
they're just
right.
all like, what are you doing? Just wear a longer dress, wear a midi dress. They're super
Or
popular.
yeah, just, like, fucking let it like, fuck a
Yes.
Spanx, dude. Fuck a
Yeah.
Spanx.
Anyways.
Uh, so yeah, so I was yeah, we clearly were both triggered from the jump. And then we moved to the nail salon with Emily and Tamra are there waiting for Heather to arrive. And just the balls on Tamra to literally be talking shit about Heather as Heather is probably grabbing the door handle to walk into the salon. I don't know if I should high five her or just go, damn, but she's just she's just gross. And then the first thing I noticed about Heather is she didn't say please to her nail tech when she was explaining what she wanted done. Just like, you know, just say fucking please, god damn it.
No,
Say
she
please
leaned
to your nail
in
tech.
and talked to her like a
Yeah.
toddler. She was like, I would like no, just a regular pedicure and extra massage, like just talking down to
Oh
her,
my
talk about
god.
like and then she denies being condescending. I was like, you are, Emily said it best when she said, I've never known anyone more unaware of being unaware. I was like, yeah, that is the
Completely.
thesis statement of Heather Dubrow. And this
Completely. It
whole
was
episode was just like a glorious opus to that concept. It's just could not be more true.
I just I will probably rant about this and put it on my epitaph. Say fucking please and thank you. And when someone says hello to you, when you get to the fucking coffee counter to order, you say hello back and you ask how they're doing. And you listen. That's it. And if you don't have time to fit that 10 extra seconds in, then make your coffee at home or go get it when you can stop being a dick. Say please, say thank you. Everybody is a fucking human being. And
Hmm.
to deal with someone like Heather Dubrow, oh, fuck that. Fuck that. Anyway, and I'm sure you noticed this too. As soon as Emily started calling Heather out on her shit, Emily gets like 2 seconds worth of words out, and then Heather's like, she has to interrupt her and she's incapable of hearing any fucking feedback. And I really did think that the way I watched it twice because I wanted to be sure that Emily was not calling someone out on their shit in a way that Tamara would do it. And it felt like she did it pretty appropriately for someone that she has a friendship with, Like I would expect my friends to be able to talk to me like that. Like, dude, you're not really you're pretty unaware right now and stop it. I'd be like, "Oh fuck. Okay,"
It was even more gentle than that, though. It was, she just said, like, it comes across as if you think you're better than everyone else.
Yeah.
And yeah, and and Heather is one of those, my least favorite kind of arguer who's like, but my intention. And it's like, you're
Yeah.
not listening. That's wonderful that you didn't have the intention to cause harm, but you caused harm. Nobody goes on the street intending to cause a car accident. But if you hit someone, you fucking say you're sorry. You don't just say,
Right.
like, well, I didn't get on the road intending for this to happen. Nobody did. But like, pay attention to your friend. And then Heather's cheap shot in her confessional when she said about Emily, she said, should we talk about your mean, unattractive aggressiveness? And I was like, what are you even talking about? None of that
I
is not,
mm-mm.
none of those are words I would use to describe Emily. And you snuck unattractive in there intentionally just to be a bitch.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So you can go straight to
Um
hell.
yeah, Heather to me every episode the more her personality comes out. And again, she doesn't have a fair shake with me to begin with. Like
Same.
my opinions on Heather are only getting more intense and deeper because she is an abhorrent piece of fucking shit as a person. She is rude and selfish, and she needs to be taken down about 10 fucking notches. And if I can help do that, I will do it. I think she'll be a better person for it. I also did write down last night, is she constitutionally incapable of being honest with herself? Is she, or are these just such control freak, like coping skills that she's honed that she can't even let them go? But she needs to change. The fact that, well, we'll get there, but she
Yeah.
got no friends, dude. She got no fucking friends for
No, and
real.
I have
I
to
do
say
not think
this.
she has friends.
No, she
Mm-mm.
doesn't. This episode was so satisfying and sort of Emily opening the floodgates for everyone to
Yes.
be like, tell the truth to this woman. Like, nobody needs to be scared of Heather Dubrow. Like, she is a
Mm.
condescending fake piece of shit who's desperate for Tamara's friendship. And Emily was so annoyed because it's just so obvious that at a certain point you just get fed up with the game. It's like, this is stupid. So,
It's
anyways,
true.
this
It's,
was the scene where I started like loving Emily for being like
yeah, me
in her
too.
confessional saying like you're 50 years old and you're just realizing that people do hard labor. Like, okay. And
Oh
then
my
calling her
God.
out and
Yeah,
saying you come off as condescending and just yeah, just staying true to the truth. I love that.
I do
That's
too.
everything.
I wrote down, damn it, I don't want to like Emily.
I know.
I
I wrote, is Emily a hero? What the fuck? That's what I wrote.
do. Exactly. I know. Oh shit. Um, and then we go to do you have
Boob
anything more
jobs
about the
and
nail salon?
no, I just looked at my notes of like boob jobs and sports bras at the yoga
Yeah,
studio.
we go to Devi Rebel. Devi Rebel. That name is never gonna not fucking infuriate me. I hate Jen. Just change it to I am a basic bitch, frappuccino drinking, fucking Orange County woman. Come do yoga here. It's good and it's hard. Like, don't, don't take a sacred goddess from Sanskrit and call it your fucking yoga studio. It's gross. Call it something like spiritual gangster was already taken, even though that name is stupid too. So I went with this. I will have Josh make her a sign.
That's amazing. I would take yoga
Fuck
there.
her,
And but
man.
I have to say, like, yeah, the name of the studio is just so I hope it's thoughtless and not racist, but it feels like it's maybe both.
Well,
But
yeah,
I
because
did
if it is thoughtless, that makes it racist. Like if
a
you,
hundred percent.
if,
Yep.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it just the cultural appropriation that for to be like cheeky or intriguing, like Devi, rebel, spiritual gangster. It's just like, oh my God, the the um the disconnect and the lack of critical thinking or just looking barely under the surface. Just lift the tip of the blanket up, just a peek, just an inch.
Yeah. No,
Anyway,
and you saw
yeah,
the demographic of her students. It was just like all white
oh
women in sports bras, and I was like, so there's not even
yeah.
anyone like on your staff or like, okay,
No,
whatever.
there's no, I mean, oh my God,
I
working
did
out in a
appreciate
fucking,
what she said about owning a business. That I appreciated of like, I want to be independent. Oh my God, the kitty cat's back.
oh,
The same cat is
Margie.
sitting here again, just watching. Oh God,
Oh,
she's
I
so
love that
cute.
cat.
Um, Yeah, no, but I appreciated what she had to say about, being financially independent and that, working is esteemable and all that. But yeah, there's a lot of other questionable shit about everything else having to do with that studio, including
Totally.
like what are they wearing? What was
Oh my
that when
God,
Gina
dude.
came? Why did she had like a mock turtleneck crop top long sleeve.
Fendi, by the way. She
Oh,
had
is that
on
right?
Fendi. Yeah, it was Fendi.
Oh, oops. I have no taste. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and it was just cultural appropriation abound in this little scene, like with Gina, like, oh, you're so yogi and namaste. You're so yo. And I was just like, oh my fucking God. I just, I, yeah.
Yeah, and
Why do I
this was
watch
a
this
weird
show?
like
It makes my
stilted
blood pressure
scene.
up. Yeah.
Yeah. I just the weird reconciliation over a
Yeah,
candle was
dude.
just
Like,
stilted and strange,
seriously?
and I didn't need it, so onward. Onward to Emily and Shane.
Onward to Emily and Shane and Emily's conversation with her mom, and Shane listening to Emily verbally processing
To
her
a
recent
point.
realizations to a point. Yes, yes,
Because then
yes.
at
Because
the
he's
when
always got to, he's got,
Emily starts
yeah.
crying as she goes off to call her mom, and Shane goes, "Okay, well, good luck," and just walks
Oh my
away.
God.
His wife is weeping about calling to, maybe reintroduce her mother, her problematic mother, back into her life for the sake of
Oh
their
my God.
children. And he's just like, "Okay, well, good
Yeah.
luck, bye."
I mean, he's got
Oh,
to stick on his
Shane.
brand. That's
Shane's
that's
gonna
the
Shane.
Shane. Shane's gonna Shane. Shane's gonna Shane. But yeah, I Emily calling her mom. I loved the vulnerability that she's like, look, I can stay in this stuff, or I can just accept her how she is, and she can be in my kid's life. And the fact that she did not have to protect her true feelings from her mother, who we know is not someone who she's felt historically safe with to go through with these to go to with these feelings, because Emily was secure in her decision. She knew what she was going to achieve by calling her mom, and that was the most important thing. And dare I say, I was inspired by Emily doing this in my relationship with my own father. And I, again, okay, Emily Simpson.
Yeah, I feel like she to me, I agree with you. I was watching this and I was like, "Oh, right, that's how you approach someone." They say expectations are the fastest road to resentments. And she
Totally.
had no expectation. She was like, "I don't need an apology. I just want to let go of the past." And even when her mother said, like, maybe childhood wasn't that bad, me sitting on my couch was like, "Oh, fuck you. You don't get to rewrite history." And
Yeah, dude,
Emily just
same.
moved right past it, just moved right past it. There's no conversation to
Yeah,
be had. This woman is going to be
yeah.
defensive. She can't understand that she like feels bad, and there's a different way to say that. So,
Oh my
yeah,
God.
again, I was like, do I love Emily? Like, what is happening? And
Yeah,
even
I
just
know.
like you said, the vulnerability of her sitting on the floor with her back to the cameras, like something about that
Totally.
felt so raw and private and like lovely. I don't know.
Relatable. It's
Yeah,
totally
that's the
relatable.
word. Yeah.
Not anything we would ever see from Heather Dubrow. Nothing. Nothing. Her
No.
marriage is great. Her kids are great. Her fucking private plane is great. Oh, yeah, well, we'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get
Yeah.
there. Yeah, I meant to say this when we were talking about uh John and Shannon, like there's a saying in probably a lot of 12-step rooms. I'm pretty sure I heard this in Al-Anon, but you don't go to the hardware store for milk. You don't go to people who cannot give you what you need in that moment. And I have to ask myself that, like, okay, like before I call my dad, Ramona, are you willing and are you emotionally like able to accept whoever you're going to get? Yes, I am. Okay, then I will do it because I am able to do I know I you know what I'm saying. But if I
Yeah.
can't, I don't have any business going to that person, you know?
Yeah.
And Shannon's going to the hardware store for milk with John, and it felt like Emily like had some real acceptance about her mother and her relationship with her mother. And so she was able to do that, and it was so brave, and I fucking loved it. I loved that scene.
Yeah. I do too. I thought that was great. And
Oh
then
my god.
we go to the
Yes,
boutique.
and then we go to the boutique.
Yeah,
I wrote
this
down more
was
blondes.
I wrote down, "This is why we need affirmative action. What the fuck, Supreme Court?" To hear that it costs that these women are going to have college counselors shape their applications in order for them to go to these top schools. I understand it's not the same as the cheating scandal, but I was sick to my stomach because I was like, no wonder it's not an even playing field. These two apathetic bitches, sorry,
Mhm.
but they don't they remind me very much of who was whatever, the girls involved in the USC college admission scandal, but they just don't seem that
Totally.
interested in college. They're not desperate to go to USC or NYU. But Shannon is going to
No.
pay someone else to craft an application that will get them in. And some other person who doesn't have access to a college counselor is going to put together, they're going to put their back into their own application. It won't get to the top of anyone's pile because they're a nobody. And they
Right.
might not get to go to a school that they would thrive at because they give a shit about it. I was just so, and again, this is from my own upbringing of like the only thing that mattered is like titles and names. And I didn't subscribe to any of that. So I was a fucking outcast in my hometown. When I told people I was going to the University of Michigan, I might as well have told them I was choosing to go to prison. They looked at
Oh
me
my
like,
God.
"Oh my god, how sad." But these
It's a
this
great
is
school.
it's an amazing school, and I had no business being at Harvard or Princeton. I didn't wanna go there, and they didn't want me, so
Yeah.
why, and unfortunately, I didn't have a college counselor. I didn't have a paid person to shape my application to get me in
No
because I would
way.
have had to
Mm-mm.
go. Because my
Yep.
parents are like Shannon and everyone else who, like, needs to say, "My child said blah, blah, blah," you know? It's just so, anyways, I was like, that moment just put me off the fucking rails.
Yeah.
Everything
No,
is just,
you're
the
totally,
inequity in
yeah.
this country is just like out of control.
It's fucking staggering. It is staggering. It is, yeah. Yeah, it's staggering.
It's the fairness thing. Like,
Completely.
I am desperate for a
Yeah,
meritocracy and there is no such thing. And I have got to get over that because it only makes me sad and crazy. So
I know.
working on
I
that.
know. I know the place it comes from though. And
Yeah.
that's yeah, it's admirable. I just yeah, and didn't one of her daughters say that she didn't even want to go to college right away and Shannon freaked out? I
Hmm.
in a past episode, I don't know. And yeah, I can't imagine being the kind of person so attached to my child going to my alma mater or making my college like a huge part of my personality. Like that's what Shannon was in the first couple seasons. Like she loved USC. She was going to send her kids to USC. She went to the USC games. I'm sure she, donates alumni money. Like, oh my God, like, okay, great. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Fucking
And
A.
to
But this
hear,
is the
like,
world they live in, I guess.
and I can't feel bad for Shannon's stressors about money. I'm like, if you're willing to pay 75 grand a year to send your kid to a school she doesn't care about, then that's on you. You're gambling. You're just putting your
And
money on the roulette table. And I don't care if you win or lose. Your odds are, you know, 50-50, and good luck. But like, I don't, again, and I just know there's some kid somewhere else who's worked so hard their whole high school life with a dream of going to one of these places, and, one of Shannon's kids, and I have nothing against her kids. I'm mad at the system. And they don't even give a shit about a college counselor. They were just
they don't give
like,
a shit about probably even going to college.
no. But anyways, all of this like
God damn it.
money, property, prestige obsession
Yep, yep,
um
yep.
is so,
100%.
it has repercussions beyond just like the pride of the person expressing that shit. Someone else doesn't get to go to college because one of Shannon's apathetic daughters does.
Oh my God.
End of rant.
I know. I think I might be sweating from rage. I'm not joking.
I
It's not
know,
so
I
hot, but like I might
know.
be sweating from rage. I got enraged from her. And I love shopping resale, consignment, vintage, Etsy, eBay. I love thrift store shopping because it gives me an unparalleled dopamine hit when I find something that's cute, that might be, that's obviously going to be less expensive than buying it new. And it's got like a shirt from the 80s is going to be more interesting than a shirt from now, you know? Um, I love a used handbag versus a new handbag because it's got some life in it. Uh, I I would say I probably prefer vintage over new. That's like a big passion of mine. Do I love that it's also like, helping the planet? Absolutely. And so I was on board when Shannon started the sentence like, "I love shopping consignment because," I was like, "Oh my God." And then she's like, the shit's already off gassed. And I was like, are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me?
I had to look
Lady
that up. I
with
was like, I don't even know what that means. It just means the chemicals that it's
the
treated with have
chemicals
been released.
have been released. Yes. This bitch has I don't know, spandex are fucking plastic, you know, like at the end of the day they're fucking plastic. But she has the audacity to put fillers and Botox all up in her fucking face. Her hair color, bitch, they are chemicals. She is so worried about chemicals and they're in her face. I can't stand the hypocrisy. I don't like it when Vicky Gunvalson is an anti-vaxxer, but you know, because but she'll she oh my god, I'm stuttering because I'm so mad. I I was infuriated. I was totally fucking infuriated. I am so sick of this whole clean movement. I want everybody to hear me. Water is a chemical. Oxygen is a chemical. Parabens are preservatives, so your skincare doesn't get fucking moldy. You would have to eat toxin. You would have to eat parabens all day to experience any of the things these kinds of people are terrified of. And I say, give me all the fucking preservatives, give me all the fucking parabens, give me the fucking chemical sunscreens, give it all to me. I snort it like cocaine because I refuse. You know what's a fucking you know what's natural? Nettle plant. You know what's natural? Fucking poison ivy. I'm not going to rub that shit on my face. It's natural.
I don't see Shannon
Oh,
wearing hemp clothes, you know?
she's a
So,
fucking idiot. Anyway,
yeah.
I can't stand it with people who are ignorant about science and the fact that and then the producer's like, well, is your jacket off gassing right now? And she's like, oh, it might be off gassing. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was so enraged about that. I was just bitch. She had
Yeah,
it.
that
She had the opportunity. You know, like, oh, I love my kids. I don't want to leave them a world that's like full of fucking plastic and fast fashion or not fast fashion or whatever. But no, the clothes have already off gassed. Are you in? My God. Anyway, it just gave me like mad anti-vax vibes, and I cannot fucking hang with anti-vax. I just,
yeah.
I really, oh, yeah. Anyway, hashtag end rant, I guess.
Yeah,
Sorry,
no,
Margie.
I was just thinking I've discovered there's a couple people in my life who I truly adore, and I just now have learned that they did not get vaccinated. So I'm,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just sort of having to approach my black and white thinking in a new way
Oh, I
because I'm
know.
not
You're
going
so
to
right.
no, but it's only because I'm being forced to. I didn't know. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know had I learned this 2 years ago. I don't know what the fate of those friendships would have been, but they've grown stronger over time. And I
I
adore
know.
and respect and appreciate what these people offer the world and, inspire in me. And so I'm not going to walk away, but I just have to sort of find a way to live and let live, man. And it's
You're right.
this is
You're
that is but
absolutely
it's
right.
really tricky. That's a tricky one. So for right now, I just don't think about it because if I think about it, then I get mad and have to leave. So I'll
Yeah.
have to
No, I
find a
get
more
it.
nuanced way to manage that at some
I get
point.
it.
But yeah, it's
Uh,
yeah, weird.
no, I understand. And you're right. I feel the same way. And I also have relationships where we don't agree on vaccines, and I will never let go of these relationships because they mean a lot to me. And it's easy for me to rant about anti-vaxxers in general because I don't know them personally, or uh yeah, I don't know them. But like, yeah, I hear what you're saying. I,
Yeah.
I understand that. You're right. You're right in
No,
that
it's
respect.
tricky. It's just, another
Mm-hmm.
annoying, like nuanced way to have a relationship that I have to learn. But,
Oh
you
goddamn,
know.
I get it. I know.
Anyways, on to the Barbie
Um
boat.
onto the Barbie boat. I love a Duffy boat so much, and Heather Dubrow came pretty close to like ruining Duffy boats for me last night. And the fact that she again, like with her joint last episode, it's like she's acting like she is the first person to discover the charm of a Duffy boat. And I want to go on the record and say, no, that was my fucking friend Sarah who understood the charm of a Duffy boat like probably 20 fucking years ago when we went on one for her birthday and had cheese and wine. And it was adorable and it wasn't pink. It like was cuter than the Instagram bullshit we saw last night. Anyway, fuck Heather.
Well, and she still was unsatisfied. She as people arrived, she was like, "I'm sorry it's so small." I'm like, "That's what it
Oh,
is. That's what the
God.
boat
It's a
is."
Duffy boat.
Like,
Yeah.
it's there aren't other sizes. It's a like,
Yeah.
I don't she just is so yeah, I think yeah, she got uncomfortable because it wasn't like the biggest but it didn't have a what did she ask when she went on that other boat? Does it have like a penthouse or a remember
Oh, yeah, she
they were on
did.
an
She asked if there
yeah,
was a penthouse on
I
the
don't
first
fucking
boat.
know. She's insane.
Oh, God, she's insufferable.
Yeah, this is
Anyway,
all
yeah.
just peak Heather. Taylor arrives and Heather just tells her how to feel, you know,
Oh,
Heather,
my
like she's
God.
saying, she said at the end, this most controlling statement that made me want to throw up. She said, "It was a great day. I hope you can take that away." And it was like, oh my God. Again, it's
That
the
was the
same reaction I had
most
to Emily's mother. I'm like, you don't get to rewrite history. You don't get to tell her what that day was. You, but praise be to Taylor for just being like, okay, you know, it's not
totally,
important enough to fight about. So let's just take our Barbie
totally,
boat to sushi and onward.
totally. And Taylor, if this somehow makes it to you, just know that you've got two people out here that saw what you did. We recognized your behavior. We recognized what you did. We recognized that you saw in that moment there was nowhere to go with this person.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that, the, I hope you could, just invalidating, oh, I hope you could take that away. And then saying to the producer, I think Taylor's sorry that she started this whole thing. I'm so glad this is being preserved for eternity. She is such a see you next Tuesday, dude. Oh, I fucking
She
hate her.
really is. Yeah, she was like the ultimate bitch in this episode. And again, it is not, it does not have cutesy charm for her anymore
Mm-mm.
because
Mm-mm.
we now understand that she's rotten to the core. So all of this stuff is not like a cute acting expression. This is who she really is. She
Yeah.
really does look down on everyone, including Taylor. This was another moment where she was like, you know, Taylor regrets getting into it with me. It's like, I don't think she does. I think you're just
Oh,
a fucking
bring it
monster.
on. I will pay money. I will pay money. I will pay money to take down Heather Dubrow in a verbal, is it tete-a-tete? A
Mhm.
tete-a-tete? Is that it?
Tete-a-tete,
Okay.
head to head.
Who
Mhm.
am I looking at over here? No
I
one's
don't
going to answer me over
know.
there.
Your
But yeah,
producer.
I've been training. I will. Oh my God. Wouldn't it be great if I could like be a producer and be like, "Hi, I'm the new producer for OC. Heather, I'll be assigned to you. How are you?" And then
She would never accept it.
just dismantle her every time. You're right.
No.
She wouldn't.
Ramona, you're
But
a
yeah.
person of color. She would never sit in the same room with you for more than
Yeah,
10
you're right.
minutes,
She'd
which
be
brings
like, "Oh
us
my
to
God."
Lauren. Poor Lauren. Poor tokenized
Oh,
Lauren, who was
yeah,
Heather Dubrow's
totally.
guest. And I appreciate the attempt at diversity and representation, I guess. But every one of those women ignored that girl the entire fucking day. I felt so bad for her. I was like, please. And Heather, this was Heather's guest, and Heather did nothing to introduce
Nothing.
her, to make her comfortable, to engage her. At, at dinner, she might as well not have even been there. She was having to
Totally.
work so hard to just like not be a ghost in that group. I was so
Totally.
sad for Lauren.
I
I
felt
don't know.
like Heather also invited her so that she would have an ally because I think she knows like she doesn't have any fucking allies.
That's
You know, like
interesting. Mhm.
I don't think that I think she knows that she knows Tamara well enough to know that Tamara will bail and not look back. Like she doesn't need to do anything to preserve that friendship. Uh yeah, I just I don't know. I had the thought last night, like, I wonder if, because again, there I have seen here and there allegations of Terry Dubrow cheating.
Yeah.
And that would be humiliating for anyone. And the only reason why I think that it would, and it would also maybe bring her some humility. Um, the only thing that I don't want to happen out of that is I don't want Heather to be a martyr, a sympathetic martyr. Like if Terry was to cheat, then what, Heather might be like, oh my God, I never saw it. Nah. And if she's like sympathetic in the public eye, I will also revolt.
I don't think she would
Anyway,
ever. I think he is cheating. I think she knows it. And I think she will never let that marriage crumble. First of all, because I'm sorry, but like, unless she does some major work, no one else is going to marry that woman. She's an absolute nightmare. Terry's the only one who will put up with her. But if he chooses to divorce her, I would be interested to see that because then everything, this whole facade she's so attached to, crumbles. And uh, yeah, we might learn more about who she really is when she doesn't have like
yeah.
clothes to hide behind and help to talk down to. And
Oh my God.
she's so
Oh
gross.
my
Oh my
God. Oh
god,
my
yeah,
God.
this whole fucking thing was so bad.
Yeah.
The Nobu dinner,
The Nobu
the
dinner.
chopsticks.
Heather Dubrow waves to the chefs like they give two fucking shits about her when she walks into Nobu.
And then she
I,
makes everyone sign a card for her daughter. I was like, "What are you doing? Your
oh,
daughter doesn't know any of these people. That's weird." For everyone,
you,
it's weird. Especially to say like my
yes.
daughter is struggling. Here, strange middle-aged ladies, why don't you sign a card that just says like says what?
Yeah.
What am I going to say to Max to make her I don't know what's going on. I don't know how I can help. Like what are you fucking doing?
And
That was and she's just exploiting her children for
totally.
yeah, to make her feel
And,
seem sympathetic. She's not.
and, and she even says it like, I know she doesn't know all of you and stuff. This also made me think she does not have any friends because if she had
Yes.
friends, like, if my kid goes to college and he's having a hard time, he's going to know the names on the fucking card. You know what I mean? He will have
Mhm.
grown up with these people. He already thinks that all my friends that come to visit are actually his friends coming to visit him, which I love. I love that so much,
Mhm.
including you. Like, I love when I love the fact he's going to be growing up with these my friends. God damn it. God damn it. This woman.
Yeah. Well, and then this is where Emily again just solidified her place as MVP of this episode
Yep.
when the Japanese, what does it say? Too fabulous to shovel shit in Japanese,
Oh my
engraved on
God.
the chopsticks or whatever. And Emily says, I don't know anyone who's more unaware of being unaware. And that was, there has just been no better truth because it's almost that statement is the surrender to it of like there's no talking to her, there's no moving her past this.
Yeah.
This is just how
Yeah.
she is and it's going to be offensive and terrible forever. It's like, everyone who engages with Heather Dubrow is going to the hardware store for milk. There is nothing
100%.
there, but yeah, just yeah, she's a monster.
She's a fucking monster, dude. And yeah, and then Emily says, okay, so everyone, if you didn't watch the episode or if you don't remember, so we've arrived from the boat. We're in Nobu. We're sitting around a table. It's the table has been dressed to the nines. It's perfect. There's name cards, there's flowers. It's just the usual bullshit so that people see that and don't see what a damaged, broken, selfish, self centered, entitled, privileged piece of shit Heather Dubrow is. And I don't care how many fucking candles and engraved fucking chopsticks that you can put in front of me at a plate. I'm still going to go, you're a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, a
Anyway, she's
Tom
trying to,
Ford candle does
uh,
not take the stink
yeah.
off of Heather Dubrow.
No. And like when Emily says, "Oh, so what did I miss in?" Now, Emily, we all know that you know what you missed, but you're gonna make Heather say it. Which, you know what? I get it. I'm. listen, listen, we watch these shows because we know these women are gonna manipulate the situation a little bit, and it's okay. It's okay. Go ahead,
Well, and
Emily, go
also
ahead, but
but Emily MVP, she opened the floodgates for everyone to be like, "You're a phony, and you are" yeah, and then everyone got to chime in and say, like, "You're chasing Tamra, and it makes all of your other friendships seem, uh, fake," and, I didn't see, Heather object to that assessment too much. She just tried to shut people up, but she didn't say,
totally.
"No, I do love you, you're so dear to me," nothing.
And when she says, "Okay, let's talk about it, but let's only talk about things that were nice." It's like, "No, because you were the root of the shit that went down that was crappy. You fucking
And it's
asshole.
so
How do you
controlling. It's just like,
yeah.
you don't get to decide what the facts of it like, I just yeah, her whole she's too much for me, I can't.
Oh my
She won't let
god.
Gina talk. Gina's, like, trying to
Mm-mm.
say things, and Heather just goes, "Let me explain." And then the worst one was when she said I think it was still to Gina, where she said, "You may want to consider," and in this really threatening tone, tried to, like, turn Gina around a bend, and I was like, ugh, again, the tone was threatening. It wasn't, "You may wanna consider blah, blah, blah." It was like, "You may wanna, like, if you know what's good for you." It's the same threat she made to Shannon on that couch, however many episodes ago that was. Like, "If you threaten my family," that moment. It was just like, woof.
Everyone has shit going on. A million people, a million and like millions of people in this country right now have kids that are leaving for college. You are no different than anybody fucking else, Heather, in that respect. I, yeah, she's so,
And no
she's,
matter what is going
and
on in your personal life, you can
yeah,
take a breath and be kind to the people
yes,
around you.
yes,
And or you can
yes,
alert them. Like, I've had days at work while I'll enter where I'll enter and just say, like, "I'm in a bad mood today. This is about nobody here. I'm gonna try and turn it around, but, like, if you
right.
see me scowling in a corner, it has
Oh
nothing to
my
do with
God,
anyone
dude.
here." But instead,
Completely.
she just is like, tries to excuse her terrible behavior by, again, exploiting her children. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it just is not you don't just because life is hard for you at any given moment does not excuse bad behavior with other people who cross your path. Like,
Yeah.
you still
Yeah.
can it takes effort to be kind, but you're capable of it, so
Yeah.
fucking try.
Yeah. Oh, oh my God. Oh
Hate
my
her.
God. Uh, yeah. And then Tamara starts in on Jen. And when Tamara's all, "I'm terrified for you." I don't believe that. I think that she is 5% terrified for her friend, and terrified might even be a stretch. And I think she's 95% salivating for the drama. Again, Tamara is the golem, and drama is the ring. That's it, period, end of sentence. She
Yeah,
snorts it like cocaine. And it's like, so Tamara, Tamara's
I think we're
Tamaring.
seeing Jen realize that in real time too, which was I know,
Totally.
like, Jen's not my favorite, but I did kind of enjoy watching her just sit in stillness. Like, when Tamara came back from doing shots at the bar with Shannon and hitting on a married man
Oh my
and, said
God.
to Jen she said to Jen, like, "I'm livid at you." And Jen just sat there and, like, glared, and because she knows the truth and she knows that Tamara knows the truth. So it's that moment of being like, "Oh my god, you're just doing this. This is a showpiece for you, and I don't know if I
Yeah.
matter to you at all." And I think it's
Yeah.
pretty clear that I don't. But I did love that she, I yeah, Tamara does have a crush on Ryan. And I said it last week and I stand by it. I think she would fuck him. If she could get away with it, she would. And her
Ew,
saying
ew,
like, "I would
ew.
never. He's so short." I'm like, "You that's not no, that's not a good enough
Dude, no.
reason why." And also if someone's accusing me of wanting to like get in bed with someone I really have no attraction to, I don't freak out. I just feel like that's gross. No, not for me. But instead she threw
Exactly.
a whole hissy fit and it's fully believable. I fully believe that she
Completely.
loved hearing that Ryan wants to fuck her and whatever. But like, sorry,
100%.
Tamara, Ryan wants to fuck everyone. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. He would fuck anyone in that yoga class. He's surely fucking someone while
Oh,
they're
he would
across
fuck
the
someone in
river
the yoga
having
class,
sushi.
right? Like
Yes.
during the yoga
Yes.
class.
Yeah.
Did you watch What Happens Live last night after?
I left it on in the background, but yeah, so I didn't pay close
because
attention, but I heard some stuff.
he
I
was
did
he
see
was in
Ryan
the
try to
audience.
pitch his yeah, I saw him try to
Oh
pitch
my
his
god,
merch,
I was
and
all,
Andy Cohen was
"No."
and Andy Cohen, bless his
I
heart, was just
mean,
like, "Okay."
he's all, "Oh,
I
okay,
loved
already
it.
making merch." It was a
It's great.
stupid hat too, like, what's that
Hashtag first of
soundbite?
all,
Yeah.
hashtag dick
No,
pic.
go
Second of
ahead.
all, are we still doing hashtag? Like, is that still
I
like a funny thing for merch? I thought that
I
maybe
don't
expired.
know.
I don't again, and I'm way behind on every trend, but to me, I was like, that seems stale. Like,
I mean, he did
anyways,
not look he's wholly unattractive to me,
and
but
he
the
is
lighting
short.
in uh, the
He
lighting in
looked
that
tiny in that
studio did
chair. Yeah.
no favors. It was he's so fucking gross, dude. He's so gross. Oh
I
yeah.
mean,
Okay.
I blew
So,
by the
yeah.
napkin throwing, but
I know. Like it's so tacky and now it just feels kind of contrived because, like Brandy doing it to Eileen or Rinna breaking the glass in Amsterdam. Like, been there, done that at a dinner party, being violent.
well, and
Like, don't
also
do that.
Tamra's done it better when she threw the glass of wine in what's her
Oh,
face's
Gina
face in the
Keogh's
first
face back in the
yeah.
old
So
days.
like to see
Yeah.
her throw a napkin, I was like, wah, wah, like, come on, man, either turn it up or stop.
It's so
And then they all
gross.
had like
So
a funny
gross.
napkin fight at the end, like another, weird
Oh
sitcom
my
moment.
God. Yeah. And then everything that I'm sorry, everything that Emily and Gina are saying about Heather Dubrow not being able to take accountability or listen, and just has to be like totally in control. These are the reasons that scene proved to me why she can never be on Beverly Hills. She does not have what it takes to like toe to toe with any of those women. Like she can't even bully Sutton. I'm sorry. Like she can't she though the Beverly Hills women, for all of their flaws, not Garcelle, but for all of the rest of their flaws, they don't suffer bullshit like that. And I mean they did suffer Lisa, I guess, but oh, never
I
mind. Maybe
mean,
she can,
no,
but I still
no.
don't think she
No,
can.
no. I think you're right. I think she has to be a big fish in a small pond. I think if she was
Yep,
put in with if she was actually surrounded by the elite, she would struggle because she can't control
totally.
them. Because
And
Mauricio's richer than her, you know? Well, I guess they're not together
oh,
anymore, Kyle and Mauricio,
what
but
do you
whatever.
hear?
Kyle's
Yeah,
still
that's true.
connected to that fortune.
I mean, the she was a bitch to Shannon last year before Tamara was back. Obviously, we know their entire Shannon and Heather's entire toxic, history on in the first years. But now, like Heather knows what the three amigas are to Tamara, and she knows she's never been an amiga. And I think the fact that Shannon and Tamara are reunited right now is terrifying her. And I don't give a flying fuck. Fuck off.
Yeah. No, I think,
Yeah.
yeah, which, yeah, mentioned the Three Amigas, which reminded me that we got a glimpse of Vicky
Oh,
Gunvalson coming through next week. And also
yeah.
the other Heather who's causing all these problems and on the receiving
Oh,
end of Ryan's
yeah.
dick pics and all that stuff. So maybe
Yeah.
next week will
Heather
be,
Ammon or Amin or whatever. Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
fucking Vicky. Yeah, I saw her face. I'm all, no, no.
I
I can't
know.
stand her. She sucks. Yeah, and yeah, we've already touched on this, but when Heather's like, "Oh, I hear you. I hear you," to Gina, it's like, "No, you fucking don't. No, you don't."
And she
Oh, and then she
looks,
said when
no,
she
I was
said,
just going to say
"I'm
the look in her
sorry
eyes.
that."
Oh, sorry.
Oh,
Go.
no. No, no, no. Go ahead. Sorry. You go. You go.
No, she just looks cold as ice when she's saying, I hear you. She's basically saying, like, shut the fuck up or I'm going to destroy you. That's what her face is
Totally.
saying. But,
Totally. Um and the fact that what did Gina say? Oh yeah, when she was talking about uh, when she told Heather, I'm working for my real estate license. And it's true. The first thing that Heather says is, oh my God, Nikki is too. And um, the best Heather can do as an apology for that is, I'm sorry it came across that way or something like that, where it was a non-apology, and then yes, goes back to you know, uh if you remember what was going on then, like, oh, just fuck all the way off, Dubrow. You so lame, dude. You're so lame. You're so
Yeah, and to
lame.
say that to someone like Gina, whose, like, husband, again, beat the crap out of her and she's in court trying like, I
Yeah.
just don't everyone has shit going on, honey, like and kids going to college is actually, like, a great it's a great success. You did great work as parents, and, like, I'm sure the empty nest is real, but, like, the there are harder things to go through in life, so I don't think we
Yeah,
wanna, like,
and
lean on successful children as your trauma.
y- you have two other kids at home, Heather. You have two other kids at home.
Mhm. Those poor
They
things, my
should
god.
leave so they're not damaged.
I mean, I hope they're,
Oh
like,
God.
in the process of emancipating themselves as we speak because, like,
I
they're
mean,
neglected
honestly,
anyways, so
honestly. Um, and then my last note for the episode, besides like, you know, rolling my eyes and dry heaving when I saw Vicky's face in the coming attractions, is Tamara was wasted, and she was that kind of wasted where like your face just looks like shit. You like, there's no hiding it. She's like slightly swaying and her face, oh, she was wasted. Poor fucking bartenders, dude, when she's like, I need a Xanax. I need a Xanax. And doing shots. Like, it's not cute, bitch. It's not fucking cute.
so loud and, like, just so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that just was so and, like, that poor man who was just, like, trying to have some dinner at the bar, like, leave him alone,
Oh
I
my
don't know.
God.
But I don't
Oh
know,
my
maybe in Orange
God.
County, like, that's how things go, but, like yeah, and they'd been drinking all day. Shanna and Tamara had been doing shots for hours before the boat and
Oh,
ever since, so, yeah, they were just drunk. Oh, and then the last thing that happens is Heather getting that alert that, like or was that in the preview for next week,
oh
that
no,
David
you're
Beador
right.
is getting
Yes.
divorced,
Yeah.
and she again, has no impulse control in a meeting is Leah's like, "Shannon, maybe I should tell you later." And I was like, "Oh
I
my
know.
god,
It's like, well, it's
now
already
something
out.
of" yeah, and now it's something with actual intrigue and you're gonna hold it back? What is your you don't know how to do this. But and I was glad that Shannon already knew
I know. She's like,
and
oh
then I
yeah, I
felt
know.
sad that she had to call her kids. Ugh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know I ripped on them in the boutique scene, but, like, it still
No,
sucks. If
maybe they
everyone if
knew, but they just hadn't seen
but
it in the press yet, or yeah,
well,
but
and just
it's
to have
still,
that added element of, like, everyone in, like, my inner circle knew when my parents got divorced, but if that shit had been on, like, a tabloid and I had to deal with that as a kid, that would fucking suck. So,
yeah.
Shannon having to alert them that, like, now everyone in the world will know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so brace
Mm-hmm.
yourself or what get out of town or whatever. It just was yeah, whatever.
God. Oh God. Oh God. Oh
Yeah.
God. Well, TBD, but every episode that Heather gets called out makes me feel more and more justified, empowered, better, all the things that I'm not supposed to be as a more spiritually evolved person, but I can only listen. I'm clearly getting something from my rage at Heather Dubrow, and I own that. I own it.
But I also think, again, there's something really satisfying about having a bullshitter called to the carpet, to the mat,
Yeah.
taken whatever,
No, I think
called
both.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Orange County is delivering. It started off, I was concerned, and now I'm like, oh my God, every episode is really rich with like strange and shocking interpersonal relationship dynamics and all sorts of things. So yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there's
Yeah.
plenty to talk about
Oh, Vicky.
after these episodes for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Oof.
Definitely. You want to do you want to do a, what is it? A peach in a pit or a,
By the way, someone told me that
yes.
was wrong, that it's a peak and a pit, which makes a lot of sense. Like
Oh,
a
God.
peak and
Well,
a pit. Yeah.
that
But
makes
we're
sense. But
children
also, so there's
of,
a peach and a pit.
yeah.
Because
And
you eat the peach and then you have the pit.
we were raised on Beverly Hills 90210. Like everything will sound like the peach pit unless you tell me
Oh,
otherwise. So
true. True.
that's that.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to start?
Mm, yeah.
Okay. All right. So, peak was my birthday weekend. It was really nice. I was able to take in the love and do some fun things, and it was chill. The pit is that it doesn't feel so much like a pit today, but it definitely did earlier in the week. I'm learning. I'm reading some books by a doctor. His name is Gabor Mate, and he is kind of like a pioneer in ADHD studies and how it how it manifests. And I feel really sad. Like, okay, so for example, this week I was supposed to go to the dentist, and they texted me 10 minutes after I was supposed to be there, and I was like, I forgot. I forgot, and I felt terrible. I just felt terrible. I started reading a chapter about how that he wrote in a book called Scattered Minds. And he also has a newer book out called The Myth of Normal. Does he have a podcast? He might. I'm not sure. But basically, this chapter it talks about adult ADHD, and he's talking about a woman who is in her early 50s, and he's talking about what her ADHD looked like as a child and what her ADHD looks like now, and her childhood ADHD. Like I spent years and years consciously and unconsciously hating myself, thinking I was just so stupid and I couldn't do things normal people did, and looking at all of these behaviors I had in school. Oh, why can't she just, she has so much potential but she doesn't use it. And so I was, my dad, that was completely unacceptable for me. And the only reason why I got anything other than like a C was because I didn't want to get in a world of fucking hurt physically, emotionally. I would spend entire like semesters or trimesters of school grounded between progress reports or report cards. Like just a hostage. I'm 12 and I'm not going out at all on the weekends. And all I did was watch music videos all night. Oof. And then I listened to a podcast that my psychiatrist told me to listen to about a doctor, an ADHD specialist doctor who works with doctors who have ADHD to help them, be better doctors with managing their neurodivergence. And she also, you know, spelled out what ADHD looks like in adult women, in little girls, because again, it's been so normalized to think about ADHD as like a little boy being boing, 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 can't calm down, can't pay attention. And it's like, that is nothing like what I experienced. I'm sure over the years or even now, there's going to be there's going to be a spectrum of ADHD. There's going to be, sub levels of it. There's going to be more accurate ways to describe certain facets of it. But I spent a lot of time crying over I just felt really sad when I look at things through this new lens. Excuse me, when I look at my childhood through this lens, I just kind of feel shocked. Like I'm just like, I'm stunned. Like, oh, that's what it was. Coupled with living with an alcoholic rageaholic, like who stood a chance? Who stood a chance in that household? So I just cried a lot, and I was exhausted from crying and humbled from crying and pissed at myself for missing that appointment. What are you going to do? Yeah. So that was my peak, but it doesn't feel so. I'm sorry, that was my pit, but
I was like, wait a second.
it doesn't feel so pity today. It just feels like more information, but
Yeah. No,
yeah.
it's, and again, as one of my former therapists used to say, oh, well, not perfect yet. You
Oh
missed an
yeah, you're
appointment,
right.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think there were lots of peaks and pits this week, but I think like there's a massive heat wave down here. So that is both for me. So it's a pit because it's fucking hot and it's weirdly humid. It's like insanely humid.
Oh.
So picketing is like an extra nightmare. And I don't know if you saw this headline, but in front of one of the studios, they trimmed back all of the
Sure
trees so that
did.
there's no shade for that. It's just like, so the pit is
Sure
like,
did.
there's a heat wave and people are so pointedly awful. It blows my mind. It continues to surprise me how shitty human beings can be to one another. So
Yep.
congratulations, Universal. You did it. Now people are
Yeah.
fainting. So good job, guys. I don't know what to say. So
Oh my
that's
God.
the heat wave pit. But the heat wave peak is, so I took this dance class. I take this dance class on Sundays, and it's held in this big warehouse space that just has like 2 industrial fans. So it's hot as hell. There's a ton of people in there. And I was, I was brought up a ballet dancer. So like I'm very stiff and placed with all of my movement. And at one point the teacher just said like, relax. And I was like, I don't relax. I don't do that. But as class wore on, the heat got to me and I fucking relaxed and I got better.
Oh,
I think it was better. It was like um, yeah, the heat wave forced me to, I didn't have enough energy to put into like being an anal retentive dance robot. And so it
right.
became a more relaxed, lovely experience. So, you know,
Mm,
baby steps, progress. But yeah, so the heat wave is a
yeah.
blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been reading about how hot it is down there, and I did. I read about that diabolical act of cutting down the like trimming, pruning the trees, and they're like,
They're
"What? It just
just, and
happened to
they
be a
just,
coincidence." I'm all, "No,
they
it didn't." Fucking
keep
Logan
doing this
Roy.
shit.
Yeah,
It really is fucking, it is that level of like, and they're
yeah.
suddenly doing construction and there's suddenly like no sidewalk. And like, it just is
Oh
like,
my
oh my
God.
God, just leave us alone. We're just, it's awful enough as it is. It's so bizarre. And I think I just have this feeling they're all in that building, like high-fiving each other, like, haha, they're fainting. It's like, great. Is that going to help anyone resolve this? No, we're not going
Oh
to
my
stop
God.
striking because it's hot. You're just getting off on how much more miserable you're going to make us. So cool,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Wild, really wild. But again, a year from now, we won't be having the same conversation. Something will change and um, we'll see. But, always grateful for Bravo and the
Always
Housewives
grateful for
for,
Bravo.
a reprieve from real life. I do enjoy watching a Barbie boat and, you know, just a bunch of, yeah, white
A
ladies.
bunch of reminders that we don't have to be like that if we don't want to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always that thing of like, their money seems luxurious, but if I have to be like them in order to have that, I don't want it. I don't want
Nope.
to be like any of them.
Nope. Me either. Me either.
So there, I'll walk around in the heat instead of having a mansion like Heather Dubrow.
Oh my God.
Whatever.
Or a pied a terre in
Um,
Century City, bitch.
oh my God.
Anyway,
Well, she has to fucking reestablish her presence in Los Angeles. We've all
she
been
has to
waiting.
reestablish her presence in LA. Yeah, we've all been
Yeah,
waiting.
maybe the strike will end when she finally gets up here. The studios will
Oh my
have to go back
God.
to work if she's available.
Yeah, because who else is going to do a quirky side pose? I'm, I'm the, oh, I'm the hard ass mom that really
Oh
loves
my
her
God.
family. Nah,
Like, does she really
sucks.
think she's going to be on like the next White Lotus? Like, what
Oh,
are you?
she
What
has.
is your vision, lady? Anyways,
Anyways,
um, well, our session time is, we're over our time again, but
yes.
yeah, this was always a joy to break this down with you. And
Such a
they are
joy. I look forward
delivering.
to these mornings. Absolutely. I just love seeing you. I love talking about these uh, flawed people with you. I love that we have an opportunity to see how far we've come and to see what else needs our attention. And
Yes.
may I forever stay humble, you know, so I can see that honestly, truly.
Truth. Yeah.
Um, yeah. I love you so much, friend.
I love you too. And we'll
And
be back here again next week for another therapeutic dose.
yeah, remember to email us if you want it at atherapeuticdose@gmail.com. You can always find us on Instagram. I am terrible about posting on there. My God, the work involved. feels so daunting, but we are at A Therapeutic Dose. If you want to please rate, review, and subscribe. When you rate and review, it helps our podcast become more indexed, and once it's more indexed, people will be able to find us easier. So if you have a few seconds, that'd be great. If not, we understand. Just we're glad you're listening. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Take care of yourself.
All
First
right.
things first.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Ramona and Margee are obviously not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.